Now, I'd like to show you on the slide, which I was talking about, the two different newsletters that we had sent out. So the one to your left is the one with it's a image-based mailer, and to the right it's a text-based mailer with more information people can read and less space to click. Now it absolutely depends on what do you think can be your successful newsletter. What we found out was the click to open percentage for the one which is image heavy was more. However, the open rates to the one which had text was more. So it depends on what you would want to have as an objective when you do an A/B testing and find out what would be the ultimate objective of the campaign. If you want more click to opens, I think the right one, left one worked for us. If there is the objective of doing out more opens, the right one to the screen is the one which really worked out for us. Moving on to the next slide, which is what to test with A/B testing. A couple of other things that you could actually test are time of scheduling mailers. This is the most frequently asked question we get from our customers when they talk about when should we send out emails, what is the best time we should send out emails. I think you could only find that out by doing A/B testing, because customers for different businesses work very differently, and they behave very differently. So for somebody, sending an email out at 6 p.m. in the evening would really have the open rates go through the window, or probably vis-a-vis somebody who sends out emails at 8 p.m. have the open rates go through the roof. So that completely depends. It can be good or bad, and you have to test that out. You can send a similar kind of a mailer with just having the times to be different, to a similar randomly selected group of people. You could also probably see ESP wise mailing. I've not mentioned it here, but that's a very good thing you could do. You can do ISP wise mailing, in which you can send out emails to a similar kind of a communication to a Gmail set of users and a Yahoo set of users and the other set of users as well, and find out what works better for you vis-a-vis, and then see which ESP or which ISP in general works better for you. This would really be able to take your email marketing campaigns to a very next level, wherein you even understand what tool are your users doing to send out emails and how can you reach to them through those tools. That's very important. Then the other part is call to action buttons and sign up buttons. So this is the most interesting of all which I see, which is we've seen that as practice, that the call to action buttons which users use can really make a difference on the CTRs and the click-through rates and the sign-ups and the conversions which happen, and it can depend on what kind of business you are in or what kind of LOB do you have. For an e-commerce, having more flashy and bigger buttons really generally works vis-a-vis some subtle and smaller buttons. So people can actually get better sign-ups in case there is a forward to a friend button which people want to showcase to their friends. And if it is a bigger button, we've seen that with a bigger, brighter button, people tend to click more on those links. So that can also be done, and you can see which one works better for your kind of database. Social media buttons, today almost every communication that goes out from anybody always has a Facebook fan page link and a Twitter link, and now coming up with YouTube and Pinterest links. So why not capitalize on that and find out what kind of buttons, where if they are placed, you can even place these buttons differently. In some of the mailers you can put them on the top, some of the mailers you can put them in the center, some of the mailers you can put in the bottom of the mailer as well, and see which works better for you. And that is ultimately the objective, to find out which would work better, and then you can keep continuing your mailers accordingly. Then it's more to do with Indian kind of database, because here still people are a little hesitant about interacting online and purchasing online and giving out the credit card numbers and stuff. So you can do a mailer in which you have all your accreditations and your certifications, like a VeriSign seal, or if there is a trust seal that you would like to portray in the mailer and say that your transaction is absolutely secure here and stuff, that can also be done. If you do that vis-a-vis a mailer which does not have all these accreditations, to find out if which one works better. And what we've seen is that giving that trust seal definitely gives you a boost, and that can be used. So these are the few ways you can test A/B testing in terms of, what would you like to test, which parameters would you like to see and change and find out. And you can actually think of many more. There's no limit to it. So you can go ahead and do experiment and find out what works best. Now, one of the most important slides which we'd like to talk about today is the best practices of A/B testing. Most of the times the mistakes what we make is we make too many variables in one testing. Let's say, for example, we'll have a different subject line. We'll also have a different design of the mailers being sent out in A/B testing. According to what I've read and understood, sticking to one test variable always makes you pinpoint what exactly worked for you, and you can probably keep a library of this data with you and always refer to that library and send out your further communications. I'll give you a quick example. Let's say, for example, you send out an email with 3-4 variables, and you'll definitely see different results. Now, there would be no practical way to find out which of those 3-4 variables that you had in the mailer really worked for you. And for that to happen, you have to have one variable that you can actually pinpoint. Let's say, for example, if you only change the subject line and you see the difference, you then are able to find out, okay, this subject line works for me. So sticking to one variable will always help you. Use large enough test segments, and be open about sending it to large group of people and do the tests and find out. Do not do it on a very small sample database. So that generally we've seen, according to industry, it's 5 to 8% is the general percentage, but depending on the size of the database. So I completely leave it to you what you would like to choose as a good enough sample segment. But using too small sample segments can actually eat up or not give you the right kind of analysis, and there will be a lot of noise in that data. So avoiding it always helps. Having good enough sizes are always good. Now, focusing on the right data points. Now, this is very important. There are various objectives of sending out emails and what we want to do and stuff. Let's say, for example, from the newsletter that we have, the objective that we would have is people opening it a lot of times and seeing what we have to say in our newsletters, right? So we would want that to happen. If you're promoting a video, the objective would be for us to people clicking on that video and watching that video. That's the objective. So basis these objectives, we should be focusing on the right data points. For example, if you want traffic on your website, if you want a lot of clicks happening, you should be focusing on the content and the image and text ratio of the mailer. If you simply want people to open your emails and read the content, you should focus on the subject lines of the mailer. So basis that, focus on the right data points and find out what do you expect and objectify from your campaigns and your testings. Very, very important. Then another thing which is important is allow enough time to elapse. Give your mailers, when you do A/B testing, enough time to perform. Do not haste into the decision of sending out emails. Give it good enough time basis the number of emails you're sending out. If it is a large enough group, give it a little more time. If it is a smaller group, you can always give it a smaller time, but give it good enough time according to you so that the emailer can completely perform and it could give you the right kind of information to send your emails to the subsequent complete database. Test at the appropriate time, very, very important. While I understand that there are time crunches and a lot of times the communication comes pretty late and stuff, but what is very important is that the right appropriate time of sending out emails should be used. If you're doing a test at 2 a.m. in the night, it's definitely not going to give you the right results. Find the right time out, do it when the people are most likely to see your mailers and do a test, which will give you an exactly right, and for that also you can do an A/B testing, which we talked about. Yeah. Choose the right split tests, auto or manual, how you want to do it. If in case you choose an auto in some cases, make sure you always look at the results once before the mail is about to go out, or if you're doing a manual, always look at the results. There are options available where the system is so intelligent that it will automatically send out emails to the rest of the database. In some of the cases there are manual, in some of the cases there are both, like we have in Octane. So you could use these features there. Always keep testing. Now this is the very important thing, keep testing your mailers, keep doing these testings and keep finding out, because if our likings do not remain the same, how would our users liking remain the same? How would our users keep liking and appreciating the same stuff coming out? So testing will always help you have the key. And this marks the end of the webinar on the inputs that I had to give you about A/B testing.